Pick a card. How are you a gift to others? Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you at your reading. Hi friends, my name is Grisel with Psychic MD. I would like to welcome those repeat offenders that show up. I really appreciate your time and energy. And for those of you that are new to my channel, thank you so much as well. Hope that everybody receives exactly what it is that you are needing today. Now, obviously, I'm doing a little bit of a different format. I did pre-select the reading piles for the sake of time, but also for the sake of ease. We're just trying different stuff to see what works. Now, we're going to burn a little bit of messy rosemary right here. And we're going to get into the intention selection. So I'm going to read to you a little bit about each card, and you will tell me, or you'll select from there which pile draws to you the most, or you could just fast forward and select the one that draws your eye right away. Okay? So pile number one, we have here Talisman of Potency, and it says sacred tools and objects can become an extension of your energy field, focusing on your power and intention to help you heal the split between spirit and matter, bringing physical matter more deeply into light of life. You're encouraged to work with the sacred materials in a conscious way to help you, your own healing and enjoyment of the material world as a part of your spiritual practice. This has everything to do with the integration. So if you're drawn to her, then that is pile number one. Pile number two, you are the High Priestess. A mystery is to be unveiled. A new clarity around your direction is unfolding. Be willing to wait for the full reveal, but also recognize that what is happening at this time, period. You'll be gaining valuable insight into what you are being led and for what purpose. Okay. Punctuation matters, folks. Pile number three, this is going to be your card. The Spirit of Isis. Beloved Initiate, there are times to surrender and let go, but there are never times to give up. Persist with your bold faith and inspired action until the impossible happens. Isis has the spirit of triumph and will never fail in her quest, no matter how bold or impossible it seems. Let her inspire you and believe. So whatever draws your eye, even if it's multitude, I will see you at your reading. Hi, pile number one. So you chose this beautiful card. I have all the piles behind here, so ignore these. Ignore these. So the Talisman of Potency. And this is about integrating physical matter with your spiritual and or integrating your spiritual side with the physical, however you want to look at it. So this is really, really powerful, and I totally can relate to this, by the way. So I feel like you are considered a gift by friends, peers, even actually foes alike, because you bring back into the 3D what you feel, see, and can sense at the 5D level, where people are totally blind and they can only see on the color spectrum with their physical eyes. I feel like you're able to sense so much more, and you open up the world for everybody. So this is one reason why people love you, why they gravitate towards you. But I'm going to say also that there's a lot of fear-based thinking about you as well. So people could be magnetized to you, but intimidated to really have a one-on-one. I feel like people actually would prefer to absorb. I almost said absorb. Absorb you from afar. They want to absorb you from afar. And that's quite interesting, because usually if you feel like somebody is a gift or they have gifts, which is what I'm feeling led to believe as well, I think that we're magnetized. We're like, wow, we want to see what you got. Or even a lot of us are like, well, we want what you have, kind of a thing, right? Which would be borderlining more on envy. And I do believe that you have all of those. But most of all, I feel like you have people that are infatuated by you because they see how easy it is for you to put your hands up to the ethers almost and bring that forward in a manner that they can actually comprehend, understand. But most importantly, I feel like it's very much undeniable. even though this is like the talisman, I'm going to say that this really has a lot of a high priestess vibe as well. And also the Hierophant, if you're familiar with the tarot cards. Now, I'm going to say with the high priestess, you are the holder and the bearer of mystery. You could have a connection to pile number 2, only if you feel led to, not a big deal either way. But I'm going to say that you're considered a gift to people around you, to companies, to family, friends, and even foes around, because they really learn how, I want to say, to have faith, how to believe, how to understand, and how to coexist with the unknown and integrate it into the known. Okay. So that's quite the tall reputation you have. Right here, I'm almost looking at this, looks like a sacred heart to me in a lot of ways. It also even looks a little bit like a snake, like the cobra, right? So I feel like you are divinely protected, divinely guided, and very well looked after. And people are a little bit puzzled at how you've been able to bob and weave and dodge a lot of pitfalls. I feel like even you've had enemies try to lay out entrapment plans for you, for lack of a better way of saying it. And they have failed miserably because for whatever reason, they lay the door trap at your feet and you've been able to glide over it or levitate over it. That's what it feels like to them. And it's quite shocking. Now, I'm going to address her hair right here because I can't help but notice that the hair on this talisman appears to me to be almost like a pair of binoculars. And it's almost like she can just kind of like pull this up and look into your soul. And I feel also that you could have really intense eyes and an intense gaze. I feel like when you have conversations, the fire and the flash in your eye is, I heard labradorite, so you could have a connection there too. But you could have a fierce look about you, even without intending to. And you could be a fire sign, because I feel a lot of passion there too. But people can be a little bit intimidated by the simple fact that they understand intuitively that you can look deep into their soul and you can ferret out anything that is lingering there. People can run from that for sure. So why are you a gift? I would like to know a little bit more about pile number 1. Why are you a gift to other people? Why do they think you're a gift? Stargazing, yeah. When you gaze at the stars, you give yourself very focus. Your intuition will flow more freely and reveal what you need to know about your situation. But I feel like that's, once again, you take people back to a time where they were a little bit more innocent, a little bit more dreamy, a little bit more in touch with the outer realms, with the other world, if you will. And I'm going to say that you kind of inspire people to return to an era that not necessarily was more innocent, but that they were more optimistic, when they were a little bit more able to slip into the dream world without any fuss as to, well, is this dream world going to manifest? Is it going to earn me money? Is it, not very 3D, in other words. So you could remind people about who they fundamentally are. You could serve as an anchor, because I'm looking at her necklace. And you can also serve as a reflective mirror that just as easily as you pierce through and look into people's soul, and you're able to see beyond the debris, the garbage that we like mask and portray to the world. Like, oh yeah, I'm, this or that, this is my mold. You're able to pierce through that. I feel like you're able to also show other people that they too need to look deep within themselves, deep within their souls, and pierce through those facades to really find what's fundamentally important and not worry about so much the superficial. And that's pretty intimidating, but at the same time, it's an incredible gift. And once again, I feel like you don't have a lot of people around you going, oh, hey, pile number 1, like, yeah, that's amazing, like you this, you that. I don't feel like you have a lot of cheerleaders and fans like wanting to clap and surround you and support you. On the contrary, I do feel like you have people that are a bit in fear of you and they want to watch you out of the periphery. They don't want to be seen watching you. But you take them. You take them to places that they've never been. So another reason why you are considered to be a gift to those around you is because I feel like your wish is my command. I feel like you command a lot of presence. You have a lot of stage presence. It says here, you use your wish wisely to manifest your heart's desire and take practical steps towards making your dreams come true. And now with this one, I definitely feel like it's a little bit of an energy of pile number 3, which is interesting. Pile number 1, you seem to have like all 3 piles indicated here, but we'll see where this goes, right? Let's see if I don't like bump my camera and make it all just fall. But I think that you make people go to the, you don't make people, can't make people do anything, but you really inspire people to go to their past and really pull that which they had dreamed about once upon a time, that they were excited about, parts of them, and you bring it into the future. Because if you look at this fairy, she is looking at the future, very future oriented. And so that's what the talisman is. I feel like you remind people of who they are fundamentally. Okay. And I feel like you also help them to wish wisely. You're like, don't go by the simple 3D world. You need to really bring out your most authentic self, because that is who you are meant to be in this world. Everyone else is taken, are they not? Why else are you a gift? I want to pull from this other little deck. And if you can't tell, I'm using like a variety of different cards, different vehicles, I'm being told, including mediumship and channeling, in order to get your messages. Now, I feel like people could really be still, because if you look at your periphery right here, these 2 candles are fairly still, and all of them are as close to the window, which I have semi-open, as the first 2 flames right here. So I feel like they are attracted to your vibrancy, the way you move, the way you look, the way that you get fired up about things. And I feel like people kind of sit still and hold their breath collectively just to see what you're up to. But they don't want to catch your attention because it's intimidating. You're definitely intimidating. Okay, pile number 1. Okay, why are you a gift though? Why are you a gift? I feel like they understand intuitively, even if they don't know you, even if they're walking by you at the grocery store or whatever, that you can actually change their life, and they're a little bit freaked out by that. Change can be intimidating for a lot of us, right? So why are you a gift? Why do people think that you are a gift? As I move my camera everywhere. Pardon me. So Willow, is that how you say that? We are gonna look on the cheat sheet. Magic. Oh my goodness. Yep. But see, that doesn't. Oh. Success, sensuality, wholeness, life force, and victory. Yeah, you seem like, I keep hearing like you're more than conquerors. We're more than conquerors, and that's like a biblical reference. But I feel like maybe perhaps you've conquered a lot in your life. I want to say that word again. So Willow. I don't know. I didn't even bother looking that one up. I usually try to look up words that are difficult for me beforehand, but they don't always stick, you know? Anyways, I think that you are a gift to people because they could really see your progression. Maybe you have come through the darkness, through like fantasy, through daydreaming, and then you've had, you know, like we all do, hit bumps on the road, and you have the ability to show other people that it's okay to dream, it's okay to make quote mistakes, because really that is what is fine-tuning your character, but also bringing about your blessings. Okay, so it's going to be very important that you, I don't know, that you kind of embrace this side of you. And that's what they are really looking at. That's what they are kind of intimidated by, is that you seem to be incredibly successful. And I feel like because I got the 2 rune stones a little bit mixed up initially with the magic, I feel like it's almost like you cast a spell on your audience, and your audience being anyone that is surrounding you. And so they feel like maybe you do some literal like spell casting, like, oh, what's your brand of magic? Let me, I'm afraid of you, or you're kind of witchy, or you have some powers that I don't really understand and I want to stay away, but I want to watch, that kind of a thing. And really they're just observing your natural progression, your natural growth, your connection to spirit, and you embracing your success and sensuality. The biggest thing I feel like is wholeness with the integration of your spiritual life and your physical life, and integrating those two in order to see, in order to show, I guess, not that you're doing it deliberately, but that you can live a life that is both spiritual and present. They can be integrated. They don't have to be a separate thing. Okay. And I think that that kind of blows people's minds with a like, almost like lightning bolt looking symbol right up here, which is very cool. So you are a gift because I also feel like people are drawn to you and they automatically think that you have the key for them specifically. The key for them to be able to succeed. And they're like, wow, this person, pile number one, knows how I can succeed. And I want to know. I want to know all of pile one's secrets, or what do you see in me? Do you have a message for me? That kind of a thing. Because once again, even though you are coming across as the talisman right here with this card, I feel like it's very strong bond to pile number two, which is the high priestess. So that is kind of interesting how that went. And and I apologize for my camera angles. I have broken like 4 tripods. Maybe this is just not meant for me. I am like the worst when it comes to that. I feel like I would be trusted with duct tape. That's what I need in my life. Just duct tape and a regular camera, because maybe I can't break that. But anyways, here we are improvising. Yeah. But we are using, all of our gifts, our creativity, our ability to see into things. I was being led to look into my evil eye ring, actually, as I said that. So I feel like you have the ability to notice how people are looking at you and what kind of a heart they're looking at you with. In other words, if they're looking at you with compassion or envy or greed or desiring answers or in a lustful manner, if they're looking at your success and wanting to follow that template, or if they're interested in what's going on in your brain. But with this, I feel like a lot of sensuality. Look at how I pronounce that. Sensuality. That's not even a thing, guys. Don't pronounce it like that. But I think that they look at your sensuality as well, and they wonder, like, is this natural? Is this like, are you putting on a show or how? But I feel like this is really you integrating, because you're integrating your higher self with your 3D self. And that in itself is just like an acceptance of, okay, well, this is who I am and this is what I am. And that mere acceptance is very sexy to people around you. And I feel like you encourage other people to embrace their sensuality, which I've said like 5 times, but that time I pronounced it correctly. That's awesome. Ay, chihuahua. Okay, here we go. So what else makes you... What makes you a gift? Why do people feel like you are a gift? Pile number 1. The scribe. The scribe, you could be some form of a record keeper. I feel like you could be a life learner, a student with the number 12. You reduce that and it becomes a number 3, of course. And I always think about that as like cooperation, collaboration. But I feel like you've done most of this yourself. And people see that you're incredibly intelligent, that you think about things and you have depth to you that most people around you do not. And I think that, pile number 1, there can't be a lot of people like you anyways, because it would be a little bit too much. If there was an overpopulation of pile number 1, it wouldn't be that special. You wouldn't be a talisman. So you are definitely a rarity in your community, okay? Whoever is watching you really understands that. Also, I feel like you inspire other people to take notes about you. So I would not be surprised if somebody has like their notepad open or their notes on their phone open, and it's like, oh, pile number 1, they, mentioned this, and this is where they're from. They want to know more about you in an intimate way, like even weird stuff like, what do you eat? What do you like to do? Do you like desserts? Do you go out to eat? What kind of movies do you watch? They want to know you almost on a personal level because you just seem a bit surreal and foreign. Untouchable, actually, would be more of a proper word. So, and this is why you're like a gift, because you inspire and you pique people's interest. Wow, that was hard to say. And yeah, you could have people like discombobulated, not even knowing. Like when people come around you, I feel like sometimes people could overtalk in order to fill this silence, and they feel like the awkward silence is a bit too penetrating for them. So that is what I have for you. If you're liking this kind of reading, please do give me a like, share, comment, subscribe. And pile number 1, much love to you. Until next time, namaste. Hi, pile number 2. My name is Grisel with Psychic MD, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number 2. If you're a repeat offender, thank you so much for showing up. And for those of you new to my channel, thank you, thank you. Appreciate your time and energy. Hope everybody is doing well. Pile number 2. So you are the High Priestess, or you chose High Priestess, High Priest. So you could have some latent talents yourself as far as being a high priest, high priestess, okay? This means that you, again, you're also somebody who's very intuitively guided. I feel like you are the keeper of secrets. You, even on a 3D level, can be the closest confidant to everybody around you. Even people, I keep getting these messages, even people that don't like you, even people that are afraid of you, okay? You are the confidant of these people because they trust you. I feel like they trust in your motive. They know that your secrets are safe with them. I'm hearing that how you are a gift is, and I heard these words, this is unusual, but bear with me, that you are a bit of a show-off. And it's really interesting because I like her stance, and she's like, yeah, what? Like, this is how we do. But apparently that's how it goes. So you could be seen as a show-off, but I feel like you don't even say anything. I feel like you are definitely somebody who, again, mums the word. You keep your thoughts most of the time to yourself, but I feel like you have laser vision, laser focus. If you wanted to, you could actually glean a lot of information from people around you. Now, what people don't understand, I think that this can cause like a widespread paranoia in your circle or in people that work with you until they've worked with you long enough to realize that you have something called ethics. But people are aware that if you wanted to, you can actually expand your vision, for like a better way of saying it, your 3D eye, and you can actually, understand and see what is going on with people around you as well. But the fact that you have ethics, that prevents you from being indiscriminate and just being nosy and be like, hey, what is so-and-so up to? Now, frankly, I feel like you have a higher perspective over everything. And right now I'm actually seeing a really, really big owl. So you're definitely an observer. I feel like you have that, you have your neck on a swivel, right? And you have the ability to see so much around you, and you absorb information, and the information that you observe, you tend to absorb, and you keep things to yourself until you need to bring it out. For example, you observe how, a company's doing, and you keep your finger on the pulse, and you're like, wow, I think that this would be a way better strategy to handle this, or we are kind of lacking and we're a little bit weak in this area. Or perhaps you're somebody where you're just kind of observing, and then your friend's like, hey, I really need help in this area. What do you think? What do you see? Can you tell me a little bit about me? Tell me about myself. And it's funny because, somebody who's a little bit obsessed with tarot, that would be me, by the way, or somebody who is in connection with spirits and with higher self and things like that, we get asked a lot of questions like, do you get anything from me? And I feel like for most of you guys, for pile number 2, you're an experienced high priestess. This is somebody who has mastery. So I equate that to like a faucet. If you go to your faucet, you turn on the valve and you use what water you need, and then you shut it off. And it's the same way as with your spiritual gifts. So I don't think that, you're just an open channel and you get all these messages all the time, because that would be incredibly draining. At least it is for me. So I need to shut that down and just focus on a 3D of mindless noise, in other words. But you have an incredible gift where you're very astute, you're very direct. I feel like you're very clear with your communication, but you also hold confidence, people's confidence. I feel like you're a gift because people know that this is that you can keep your mouth shut, that you have a desire and a higher perspective to be able, like very humanitarian vibes, okay? But you're not going to weaponize that. And that's very comforting to people around you, even if they cannot articulate. The same way that it took me 4 minutes and 43 seconds to be able to bring this across is the same thing that people are feeling around you, okay? And yet people, I feel like, who are jealous can call you a show off. Now, this to me almost looks like the two fingers were like, bink, bink, you know. If you're on social media and you're into those trends or watching the trends where they're like, oh, I'm cute. I can take your man if I want to, you know, and they're doing all these, you know, little trends. And you're like, oh, that's cute, but that's not me. And I feel like you could be seen almost like a trendsetter. People do automatically get jealous of you. And I feel like you can see how her eyes right here are just almost like blank. There's no real pupil there to be seen. I feel like you can kind of, other people would call it maybe zone out or be in a different state. Like things are happening around you in 3D and all of a sudden you're gone. You're mentally not there. Emotionally, you go to like a different plane, a different place altogether. And people know this about you, and that is intimidating as hell because they don't know if you're like accidentally tapping in your energy with which yes, that can happen, but most often it has nothing to do with people around you. So you intimidate as well as excite people around you. We are not throwing all those cards on the floor. Yes, we did. One moment, please. Yeah, people get really clumsy around you. People get really nervous around you. Also, they don't know necessarily like how to interact with you because I feel like when you do speak or when they've heard you and seen you speak, you're very, very direct. And at times you could be very cutting, not to be confused with cunning. But I think that your form of communication, like, I don't feel like you have time to mess around, okay? You're not verbose and you don't talk just for the sake of talking. People could be quite out of sorts around you. Your energy, oh my gosh, I just like dropped some more. Stop it. Okay, your energy is such that it kind of freaks people out. All right, I'm going to take this one because it was just one that jumped out. Check this out. How beautiful is this card? So this card is natural rhythms and journey, action, movement, and the right path. Rado, I don't know how to pronounce that. But I think that just kind of reinforces everything that we just talked about. I feel like you are a natural. You're a natural at almost everything that you do. But the interesting part about this to me anyways is that you go incredibly deep, that you just only resurface every now and then. So you could be in your thoughts a lot. You could be connecting to spirit. You could be at work like manually just kind of doing your 3D world, but your brain is elsewhere. And I want to say that sometimes you could be considered kind of like a dreamer. If people don't know you, your brain is definitely checked out into other places. And it's for a higher purpose, right? With these jellyfish, I feel like this is part of what you bring out from the depth of other people and how you're a gift. It's like it is a gift because you go deep and you're able to see into their psyche as a help, as an assistance. But by the same token, it can sting. Like the truth can hurt, right? And I feel like you realize, and you're somebody that understands that while it can hurt, the benefit way outweighs that pain anytime, at any moment, okay? Look at me. I'm like totally klutzo over here. Don't look at me while I'm dropping stuff. Oh my goodness. Okay, moving on. Pile number 2. Here we go. I feel like the things that you bring up from the depth also are so potent and so huge that these epiphanies that people have around you are shocked, and then things get set in motion really quickly because this seems like fast action, almost like the vibration of an 8 of Wands movement if you're into the tarot and things like that. And once again, I feel like it is so unusual. They've never seen anyone like you. And again, high priestess are sprinkled throughout time and space, because otherwise an oversaturation would mean you're not special, kind of a thing. And that is definitely not the case. So yeah, I think that you're able to point out cycles, see rhythms, and be able to sense the time, the signs of the time. You're somebody that also prompts an awakening in other people. And I think that could be very, very uncomfortable, but that is an incredible gift for people. This is like the functional gift that is aesthetically pleasing, but unusual. This is a gift that people didn't know that they needed. And I feel like you prompt people almost like an awakening, a deep awakening in spite of themselves, okay? So I feel like I just heard people come to you when they want deep insight into situations involving their lives, but not necessarily wanting big revelations about themselves. That's pretty funny. Okay. So pile number 2. Why are you a gift to people around you? These came out together. Shine from within. Yeah. I feel like you might be like into high fashion or interested in things like that, but you also realize that shining within is the most beautiful of beauties. It's a funny way of saying that. But I think that you can look at like fireflies and nature, because this is, referencing nature as well. These little lightning bugs, fireflies, whatever you want to call them. I think that you look at nature and you're just like fascinated. You're like, wow, look at those patterns. Look at the bark on that tree. Isn't that amazing? And how is it that that bark rolls off the tree and you can actually peel it and use it for different medicinal purposes? And how if you use it incorrectly, it could be harmful. And I think that you're fascinated by nature and patterns and signs, okay? So looks are only skin deep. True beauty shines from within. It's time for you to shine. This is a time for self-acceptance and for revealing your true beauty. And I feel like while you are on the 3D physically incredibly beautiful, handsome, your beauty is most found within. And I feel like you have an ability to help people feel seen in a powerful way that are considered not very beautiful, not very handsome in this world, in this time. Okay? That's really powerful. And that's why you're a gift. People see that and feel that. Yeah. You provide healing. I feel like with being a high priest, you see that this dimension is just kind of ridiculous, of our value systems. It's like we're only valuable if we have like a huge house and a whole audience and whole auditorium clapping for us. We're only valuable if we are incredibly beautiful, or if we look youthful, or if we are bubbly, or if we drive the really cool cars and have the nice threads. But I feel like you heal that wound within. And it's interesting this comes up. Personal story. It's interesting because I work through a lot. I've done a lot of shadow work, and I'll make this quick. But one thing has always been like my way has fluctuated up and down and up and down, and then up and up. So I've always had an issue with my weight. And one thing that, my father, if you guys have been on this channel, you know that I've had a difficult relationship with both parents. Now, my father was never accepting of me, and especially if I was heavy, if I gained weight, that was frowned upon. I had to be I just saw the number 1313. I had to be like, physically fitting the role model of this 3D world. I had to be slim. I had to be beautiful. I had to wear the right clothes. I had to be dressed to the nines. And most of all, I had to be quiet and accepting of whatever he put my way. But I had to be willing to be paraded around like a little miniature girlfriend, a trophy, which is highly inappropriate. And we'll skip on that, but y'all get the idea. And so I feel like you provide healing through your own healing. You've been able to do a lot of shadow work, a lot of healing. You've got a lot of epiphanies, and you've been able to work those out. And right now I feel like you're to the point where you are providing a light and a lamp, and also a rainbow, a promise that, you're breaking generational curses, that you are enabling other people to see that there is a life after something radical happening like this, or that you can have an awakening and healing deep within. I also feel like you could be a healer. You could be a light worker, because there are all sorts of little lights going on here as well as on top of the ceiling. I feel like you could also, going back to that dream quality, another gift you have is you could analyze dreams. I have a friend from a million years ago, and she is so good at analyzing dreams. I don't think she watches tarot at all, but Gail, if you do, shout out to you. So you could have a lot of these gifts that are incredibly healing. A simple explanation, a simple, something that resonates with people's souls. And that's really deep. There's nothing shallow about you. Woo, that's like a lot of energy. You could be a forest fairy. You could have a love of nature, a love of all things that are healing, a love of even light. You could be, an explorer of light codes and things like that. But I feel like you're a big fan of all things supernatural is what I'm hearing. I don't get so much as like the ghost hunting thing. I feel like you could if you wanted to, but I feel like your heart is to really help. It's a humanitarian heart. And I'm not saying that ghost hunters are not helpful, but that's a whole different thing. That's not what I'm talking about here. You could be somebody, again, who does those things, but I feel like you're in the healing modalities. So if you do work with spirits from the other side, you are, for example, like working with people on this side, helping them cross over, like a death doula, or you're somebody who, people come to, these souls that are lost come to you for help and they want to communicate, and you're able to offer them a lifeline, things like that. So if you've stuck with me this long, I know this was a lot. Thank you so much. Do give me a like, share, comment, subscribe. And your last card right here, why you are a gift to people around you. Come together right now over me. Anyways, that's an old song. Yeah. Fairies like to be busy, and the group of them is showing you that many hands can make light work. Working as a team helps get the job done. Actually, I forgot that I had to pull another card for you because I did do it for this other pile. So, we cannot have an imbalance here on this channel. Well, we try not to. Okay, so, yeah, you have the ability to create teamwork, to be able to help people find their strength and use it. I feel like if you're a manager, you have the ability to see where people's strengths are and start them there, and then help them beef up what they know. For example, when I manage, I would like to put people where they had their strength, where they're the most happy, the most comfortable. And then I would have a week where I would place this person in charge of training somebody else who that was not their passion, that was not their strength, that was not, something that they were even drawn to. And so they would train with them for a week. And I feel like when somebody has a natural love for something, then I feel like that is something that translates differently than somebody who is just simply proficient, okay? So you have that ability to be able to Rubik's Cube things around. Okay, your very last card for real is the Queen of Keys. You have the ability to see what is solid, what is salt of the earth, what is practical. You bring spiritual matters down to the practical. And I feel like for you guys, you could have a connection to pile number 3 coming up next, where we're, anyways, if you feel led to, great, but don't have to. So the Queen of Keys is definitely all about practicality and moving things around to be the most efficient, but also the most sturdy. So you don't want to, that example I used earlier about your employees and whatnot, you don't want to keep your front desk person, the best one, always there. You want to definitely cross-train, but you don't want to cross-train in a lazy manner where, so-and-so knows how to do this, and you just send them over. You send them to the person that has a deep love and a deep connection, and hopefully a little bit of an ability to teach a skill as well, because passion can be contagious, and that could spark an interest, and that could lead to a solid foundation of, at least, if not proficiency, then a great understanding, and it's a great building block. So You have the ability to move things around to provide that great building block for others. And this is how you're a gift, because you're solid, you're methodical, you know how to Tetris things in a place. And there is a reason, a rhyme and a reason for everything that you do and the way that you do things. People could question that, but upon closer inspection, they are definitely won over. And so that's why you are a gift to other people. So much, much love to you. And until next time, namaste. Hi, Pile 3. My name is Griselle with Psychic MD, and I'm here to do your reading. If you chose this beautiful card with Isis, then this message is for you. So here we have a letter basically to Dear Initiate, and I feel like that would be you, of course, because here we are. And with Isis, even her stance, this tells a lot about how she's been through it. Maybe you've been through the ringer. Even her headpiece seems a little bit askew, even though maybe it's not meant to be. Maybe it's just the angle, but to me it feels a little bit haphazard, a lot of movement and motion behind her. So you could have had to do like a lot of fast acting, fast movement, things like that in your past to get to where you are. And I'm hearing that you're not exactly where you want to be. But pile number 3, this is exactly why you are inspiring to other people. You are a gift to others around you, simply because they could see that you have battled and battled greatly and battled great things, but you have not given up. And although you might take time to go ahead and catch your breath, that you are still fighting for a good cause and a good purpose. And that is inspiring as Hell, isn't it? So pile number 3, let's pull some cards for you. Pile number 3, why are you a gift? You help people keep going when they feel down, when they feel burnt out, when they're exhausted. I feel all of a sudden I just got exhausted and weary. I feel like a lot of 10 of Wands energy, like you are carrying so much responsibility. A lot of it is not even your own. And I don't know if you voluntarily did this. Well, if you're carrying it, I'm going to say it's an agreement. But I don't know if you said, hey, let me take on that responsibility. You could be somebody who by nature likes to take responsibility, or you could be somebody who loves to serve. This smoke is so freaking beautiful. I don't know if I can get it in the camera because, let's see if I can move that. Anyways, I feel like nope, it's not going to come through. It's too low. Okay, well, here we are. I feel like you're incredibly graceful in your movement. I feel like you're graceful with how you do things to begin with, how you think, how you present yourself to the world. And things, yeah, they could get messy, but I feel like because of your grace, you handle things and people don't even know that it's been a struggle for you. You could have led a not so easy kind of a life, right? And people think that, ooh, it's been so easy for pile number 3. Well, that's definitely, nothing could be further from the truth. I think that you are used to carrying a heavy load on your shoulders and you make it look super graceful. Now, with that being said, you could have been in your younger years maybe a scrapper or somebody who's defiant, some energy like, yeah, come at me, go ahead. Go ahead and come at me. Like, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, I guess. You could have been involved in physical fights or altercations. For some of you guys, you could have landed in jail or at least been arrested. There's no judgment here, by the way. That would have been my path, but luckily I only saw the back of a patrol car once. And I got lucky. And I did not get arrested, so this is good. Moving on. I feel like, yeah, you could have had a lot of tears. You could be somebody who has experienced a lot of pain in your life as well, and people don't really quite understand. But I feel like you're fiercely looking towards the right. I also heard that you're fiercely loyal, that no matter what, you will help take up a corner of the couch. I don't mean sitting on a couch, but I feel like I just saw people moving a couch and you're like, here, let me jump in, let me help you. And you are that person. Now, with that analogy, I'm going to share with you one time. I was in a car with a friend. We're going garage sailing, and I saw another friend, a couple trying to move this big couch. And I jumped out of the car so I can actually go physically help them, because I'm like, wow, it's a really heavy couch and it's just one guy and his wife, and that's a bit much. What can I do to help? In my enthusiasm, I jumped out and somebody dropped the couch right on my toe. And I suffered for, I don't know, 6 months with like a pain in my toe and a blackened toe and all the gruesome things you don't want to hear. But here we are. So I'm going to say that you could inflict pain on yourself and exhaustion upon yourself because you tend to carry the burdens of others, or you want to make other people's burdens light and you're used to carrying a lot, but you do it naturally and without thinking. So there is that. And this is why you're a gift. I feel like when you're all in, you're all in. You could be somebody that's difficult to get to know, though, by the same token. Like you want to help, you want to assist, you want to give your heart, but you tend to hold people at bay. People are a little bit afraid of you. Why are you a gift to other people? Because once people win you on their side, or they feel like you're on their side, it's like it's a sure win, okay? Doesn't matter if they're taken up in opposition to like a grand jury or something big like a job thing or whatever. They feel so much more secure and helped and comfortable and loved if you're on their side, which is, you could be an advocate. Oh, okay. Here we are. Stargazing. This came out in one of the piles. I think it was pile number 1. And solitude. Yeah. So again, you could be somebody who had a lot of inspiration from your past. Maybe it was a little bit dreamy. Maybe people didn't understand, and you had a lot of a connection to the other world. With this fairy, her wings are translucent. People could have not known that you were going to fly so high, or what they perceive as flying high right now. Don't mean that in like fly high when somebody crosses over. I just mean, obviously, getting to where you are currently, where people just admire you, because there's definitely a measure of admiration for you, a strong one. And I feel like you could have, been looking towards the past quite a bit and being in touch with your intuition. You had a deep connection with water, or currently have a deep connection with water. But with the translucent wings here, I feel like people didn't really understand how that was going to help you in this world, in 3D world, and how you were going to be able to navigate that. People thought that you would not be able to handle life because it would be too much of a burden, too much of reality for you. And actually, okay, personal story, why not? Since we're oversharing everything, why the heck not? So when I was growing up, I would always get told, like, get your heads out of the clouds. And I would mentally check out. Now, for me, there was a lot of reasons why I would do this. It was probably something like in my nature anyways, but I had severe abuse growing up, like physical, mental, emotional, sexual, all of it, all the abuses. And so my way of dealing, of coping, was definitely checking out. And the way I checked out was I checked in to the 5D world. So it involved a lot of me just kind of stargazing, connecting with the moon, connecting with the things that be. I always felt like an affinity with nature, so you could be somebody like that. And back then, they just didn't see like why, they didn't see that you would have wings, that you would be able to do the things that you are currently doing. Like that shows no strength. Those translucent wings are so thin even that they're not even noticeable, but also they would be questionable if people did notice them. It's like, well, yeah, you got those wings, but they're so delicate. Yeah, but they're powerful, and this fairy can fly, unlike other people around you. So solitude, I do feel like you are a gift because you show people that in order to grow, you need to go within. You need to go within and self-reflect and ask yourself a lot of questions and work through issues. We all have issues. Case in point, myself. So I'm going to say that with solitude, think of being alone as a meaning. You're all one in total harmony with everything. The greatest treasures are those that wait silently during your quiet times. So I feel like you're a gift because you make solitude not look like a death sentence, not look like something that they want to repel, they want to move away from. You could have a connection, by the way, to bobcat, because I'm seeing like a bobcat in my third eye. Or you could have bobcats watching you, and that's a whole different thing. But with the solitude card, I feel like you do it gracefully. I feel like you connect with nature. You could be somebody that meditates and does yoga quite a bit, or I feel like whatever it is that you do in your private time is a great mystery. Okay. With Isis right here, it's because you have a lot on your plate and you've taken on a lot of other people's burdens. And perhaps this is the only way that you can actually assimilate all that information. But also, this is a way for you to balance things out and a way for you to heal your own self. Because otherwise, it would be too much of a burden. And so you give people hope, how your gift is like, wow, this person can go within and they're doing fine, but I'm afraid to leave my spouse. And I'm not, a big fan. I'm not saying, hey, let's just break up families. Let's be all wild and over here. That's not my point. But my point is that you don't need anybody necessarily to thrive and shine because you're an individual. Pardon me while I take a sip. So I'm going to say that you make moving to the next level appear doable, appear inspiring. You help people see that they definitely need time apart, even from their spouse or from their kids or whatever, just to decompress. Also, part of being responsible is allowing other people to be responsible for their own damn selves. So if you are a chronic rescuer, such as myself, I feel like the gift that you give other people is that they can see a way out with you. It's like, well, pal number 3 did it. They're doing it. But also I feel like the quote rehearsals, the times where you're like, damn it, I did it again. I jumped in, I rescued. And that's me, by the way, all the time. I rescued this person and in reality, they need to learn their own lesson. But with each time that you do it, you're like, okay, I'm recognizing it faster. I'm getting in less deep. I'm kind of like, oh, I overcorrected. Let me course correct again. Let me pivot. Let me fix this because it is not my responsibility to fix anyone else. So I feel like each time that you overstep in the manner of wanting to take responsibility from other people, in which, by the way, doing that is taking away their lessons, their ability to learn lessons in life, the ability to cope, the ability to stand on their own 2 feet, the ability to have stamina, which you have in, I heard droves, which is interesting, but you have a lot of stamina. And you're taking away those lessons from people whenever we step in to rescue them. So they don't learn, they just learn how to lean, learn how to be codependent even more. So that should really help your heart not to feel as burdened. Now, the gift that you offer other people is, wow, okay, I can course correct. Even though I know this intellectually, I still slip because it's my nature. And I've done it for 10 years, 30 years, 50 years, whatever. And you inspire other people because, yeah, you can teach an old dog a new trick. I'm the cover story for that. And I'm going to say, yeah, you inspire people by helping them to see they can take baby steps. They could just learn as they go. It doesn't have to be full-on mastery like, oh, wow, all the responsibilities that weren't mine, I lay them down, and people who picked them up, they pick them up, and those who didn't suffer the consequences. It doesn't make a difference. You're not cold-hearted like that. But I feel like in your own journey, people see it as like a real journey and they see that you've been through a lot. Once again, I'm getting like the 9 of Wands where it's like, okay, I have one more fight in me. Come at me, bruh. If you have to, then you have to. You can come this close to ride this ride is what I'm hearing. And you're not allowing a lot of the old things to come back into your life. I feel like you have been quite tested. I feel like those people and things come back into your life in different forms in order to test your will. And when you see the same lesson on a different face, in a different person, in a different situation, just know that this is Spirit's way of making sure, okay, you got that, because we got better coming, and let's move on to the next, okay? So you have learned a lot about temperance, a lot about balance, and a lot about... I feel like even conquering addiction, okay? And I've had my own battle with that as well, but that's for another time and day. So definitely no judgment here, you guys. But this is why you're a gift. It's like you're inspiring. You're like, dang, you've done all that? Yep. And you can too. And I feel like you empower other people. I'm looking all of a sudden at all these bright indigo colors, and that is your throat chakra. So you could be speaking your truth while you do things. People could be definitely listening. But I feel like if you have sad eyes, like people could be like, wow, you just always look sad, you're magnetic, or whatever the case may be. People can understand that you've lived, quite the life, and you are speaking your truth. With the second round of color right here, I feel like you are definitely getting more grounded. You are no longer led by every whim, or every squirrel that wants to bop out, and you're like, okay, let's run into danger and help them because the squirrel decided to do this. You're just kind of trying to maintain your balance with the temperance in my brain, the temperance card in my brain. This is about balancing, about equanimity, about not overgiving, not oversharing, not taking over other people's lessons and saying, listen, let me just do it. I do it better, or I can do that for you. Or so you're done with all of that, and you're allowing things to be the way they need to be. Why are you a gift? You show people again that solitude is not a death sentence. It is a time for growth, and it is a period to be meant to be enjoyed and to decompress and to heal. Solitude is not isolation. And your rune card, is it Hagalaz? Okay, so endings and beginnings, transformation, radical change, destruction, and completion. Yeah. So I feel like you enable people, very much like the Tower card and the Tarot, to be able to see when something has ended and when something else is going to begin. I've never actually noticed this blue right here and all the electricity coming through. But for blue, it's always the throat chakra for me, which she's pointing out right here. So it could be saying that the things that you speak on, things that you say, could be an electric bolt to those around you. And the hidden gift to that is that maybe the scorpion finally stung, and there's been healing. There's healing with your words because there's truth to be revealed. All truth is out in the open. And that way people can begin to heal, begin their journey, and really clearly understand where it is that you stand and where they stand. I do feel like whatever this is, your truth has really served to really hurt people. Yeah, sting. Words can sting for sure. But it's developed an electricity, and it's drawn them closer to understanding that they too need to heal. They need to go within. And this is a gift. And it's a mixed bag because people go, how could that be a gift when I get stung or when people hurt me with their words? And it's like, well, because you're able to look beyond it. You're able to see if they hurt you, why did it hurt? Is there some measure of truth in there? If not, then is it a situation you simply need to get away from? And why were you triggered by that? So there's a ton of questions behind any emotion. And I just encourage you to even write those things down as if you were a third person, okay? So why are you a gift? I need to go to a different deck because we're almost at the end of our reading. Why are you a gift to other people, please? For pile 3. And again, I feel like you guys are my conspiracy people. It's always pile number 3 because I get this like, okay, look at the moon, look at the look at everything that is like mysterious and you're connected to. Look at what reality is and what you have been told. Does that really match what you see? Does that make sense? I think that you're starting to question everything, and you help other people to question everything as well. And then your very last card with the number 1818 right here on the clock is the Queen of Roses. And this is somebody who is incredibly in touch and I think aesthetically pleasing, very beautiful. I'm looking at this even though it's a vase to me. Hello, with all the vases I just showed you. To me, it feels more like an urn. So this is maybe perhaps someone that has crossed over or left your life in some way, shape, and form. And I feel like you can enjoy the beauty of things as they are, knowing that they're time sensitive, right? Flowers can only last so long before they do perish. And I think that you have the ability to show people to enjoy the now, enjoy the forms that people come in and how they show up in your life. And sometimes people are here for in the meantime and not necessarily like for a good time. But people's stints in your life can be just that, a stint. And there is much to be learned from everybody, I believe. Whether it's facing your shadow side or learning different lessons or developing different skills, whatever the case may be, learning how to breathe, learning how to enjoy beauty around you, all of it, all the things. And I'm looking at the clouds, learning how to enjoy even the clouds, and even how to gaze at your journey. Yeah. So that is what I have for you. Appreciation was the summation of that card. You know how to appreciate things and how to bring it full circle so people can see that they too can appreciate where they're at and where they're headed, and have that confidence that if they just drop some of the burdens, that they have the ability to continue forward and achieve those goals, whatever those goals are to you. So with that, much, much love to you. Until next time, namaste.